I automated my entire business for 30 days. Here's what happened. Day 17, 2 in the morning, and I'm staring at my phone watching a notification roll in. A customer just bought my most expensive package, $4,700. And here's the thing that made my stomach drop. I didn't send that email. I didn't write that sales page. I didn't even know this lead existed until money hit my account. An AI system I built 3 weeks earlier had found this person, nurtured them through 7 touch points, handled their objections, and closed them, while I was literally asleep. I replaced myself with AI tools for a month and tracked every dollar saved and lost. And what I discovered completely broke my understanding of what a small business owner is supposed to do all day. Now, before I walk you through the exact 30-day timeline, I need to tell you about the moment on day 23 when everything almost collapsed. One automation went rogue, and I nearly lost a client worth $12,000 a year. I'll show you exactly what happened and how I fixed it in under 20 minutes, because that mistake taught me more than everything else combined. Here's what you're going to learn in the next 10 minutes. First, the 5 specific AI tools that now run 80% of my business operations, and I'll tell you exactly what I pay for each one. Second, the real math, not the fake guru math, the actual dollars saved versus dollars spent, including the hidden costs nobody talks about. And third, the one type of task you should never, ever automate, and I learned that the hard way. I run a small marketing consultancy, 6 clients averaging about $22,000 a month in revenue. Nothing crazy, but enough that I was working 50 plus hours a week and drowning in admin work. So I made a decision. For 30 days, every single task I did more than twice would get automated or delegated to AI. Day 1 started with the task I hated most, email. I was spending, and I tracked this, about 2 hours and 40 minutes every single day just managing my inbox. Client questions, follow-ups, scheduling, proposals, all of it bleeding through email. So I set up my first automation using a combination of ChatGPT's API connected through make.com to my Gmail. Here's what I built. Every incoming email gets scanned and categorized into one of 4 buckets: urgent client issues, scheduling requests, general questions, and stuff I can ignore. The urgent ones ping my phone. The scheduling requests, they go straight to Calendly with a personalized response that sounds exactly like me because I trained the AI on 200 of my previous emails. General questions get drafted responses that sit in my drafts folder for a quick review before sending. Day 3, I checked my screen time. Email was down to 47 minutes. I had saved almost 2 hours, but here's what surprised me. The quality of responses was actually better, more consistent. No more cranky replies when I was tired. No more forgetting to follow up. But I made a critical mistake that almost cost me. I let one automation run without testing it enough. A potential client asked about my pricing, and the AI sent them my standard rate card. Fine, right? Except this was a referral from my biggest client, and I always offer referrals a 15% discount. That personal touch matters. The AI didn't know context. I caught it an hour later and sent a manual follow-up. But that was my first lesson. Automation without context is just efficient screwing up. By day 7, my email system was saving me roughly 14 hours a week. At my hourly rate, that's about $2,100 in time saved. The tools cost me $47 a month combined. Now here's where things got interesting. Week 2, I attacked content creation, and this is where most people mess up with AI. I was spending about 8 hours a week creating content, blog posts, social captions, email newsletters, LinkedIn updates. The typical advice is to just have ChatGPT write everything. That's lazy, and your audience can tell. Instead, I built what I call a content multiplication system. Every Monday morning, I record one 15-minute voice memo on my phone. Just me talking about whatever's on my mind related to marketing. I use a tool called Descript that transcribes it and pulls out the key insights. Then Claude takes that transcript and creates a content brief. From that single voice memo, my automation creates 1 long-form blog post, 5 LinkedIn posts, 10 tweet-sized insights, and 2 email newsletter angles. But here's the crucial part. I still edit everything. The AI does maybe 70% of the work. I spend 2 hours polishing and adding my actual opinions. Because here's what I discovered. AI is incredible at structure and terrible at hot takes. Your audience follows you for your perspective, not your information. Information is everywhere. Opinion is rare. Week 2 results? Content creation went from 8 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes. My engagement actually went up 11% because I was posting more consistently. The cost? Descript is $12 a month. Claude is $20 a month. I was saving roughly $575 a week in time. But remember that client disaster I mentioned? That's coming up, and it connects directly to what I'm about to tell you about customer communication. Week 3 was supposed to be simple. Automate client onboarding and ongoing communication. This is where I got cocky and almost lost everything. I set up an automation where new clients would receive a sequence of onboarding emails, questionnaires, and check-in messages. The AI would analyze their responses and send personalized follow-ups. Beautiful in theory, horrifying in practice. Day 23. My best client, the one worth 12 grand a year, gets a check-in email that says, and I am quoting this directly, "Hope you're seeing great results from our work together. Let me know if you have any questions about your current campaign performance." The problem? Her campaign had been paused for 2 weeks because she was dealing with a family emergency. She had told me this on a phone call. The AI didn't know. It just saw that 14 days had passed since our last email exchange and fired off its standard touch point. She replied with one sentence, "I'm questioning whether you actually pay attention to my account." My stomach dropped through the floor. I called her immediately, apologized, explained what happened, and here's the thing that saved me. I was honest. I told her I was experimenting with automation, that this was a failure, and that I was personally taking over her communication immediately. She appreciated the transparency, but I was one automated email away from losing my biggest revenue source. Here's the lesson that I want to burn into your brain. Automate tasks, never automate relationships. The moment something involves emotion, context, or trust, a human needs to be in the loop, no exceptions. I rebuilt that entire system. Now the AI drafts messages, but nothing goes to a client without my eyes on it first. Added maybe 20 minutes back to my day, but protected the relationships that actually pay me. Week 4, I went after the boring stuff: bookkeeping, invoicing, project management, and lead generation. This is where the real time savings stacked up. I connected QuickBooks to Zapier to my project management tool. Now, when a client pays an invoice, it automatically updates their project status, sends them a thank you email, and logs the payment in my tracking spreadsheet. When a project milestone hits, it auto-generates the next invoice. I went from spending 3 hours a week on admin to about 20 minutes of oversight. For lead generation, I built something I'm genuinely proud of. I use Phantom Buster to scrape LinkedIn for people who engage with content in my niche. That feeds into Clay, which enriches the data and finds email addresses. Then my AI writes personalized outreach based on their recent posts and activity, not spam, genuine, relevant messages. In week 4, that system generated 14 qualified leads, 3 of them booked calls, 1 became a client, $4,200 in new revenue from a system that runs while I sleep. That's the sale I mentioned at the beginning, 2 in the morning, completely automated. Let me give you the final 30-day math. Total time saved per week, approximately 23 hours. At my effective rate, that's roughly $3,400 in time value. Total cost of all AI tools, $187 per month. New revenue, directly from automations, $4,200. Net impact in month 1, just over $7,700 positive. But here's the number that matters more than all of that. My stress level dropped dramatically. I took a full Saturday off for the first time in months. I read a book that had nothing to do with marketing. My brain felt quieter. Remember how I started this? Watching that notification at 2 in the morning, money hitting my account while I slept? What I didn't tell you is that I was awake because I was reading, not working. That's the real transformation. If you take one thing from this entire video, let it be this: automation isn't about removing yourself from your business. It's about removing yourself from the tasks that don't need your brain so you can show up fully for the tasks that do. The tools change every 6 months. The specific workflows will evolve. But that principle, that's permanent. I'm going to keep running these experiments and documenting what actually works. If you